Good morning. For the record, my name is Enrique Pepin, District 5, Boston City Councilor. I am the chair of the Boston City Council Committee on City Services and Innovation Technology. Today is Monday, August 12, 2024. This hearing is being recorded. It is also being live streamed at boston.gov/city-council-TV and broadcast on Xfinity Channel 8, RCN Channel 82, and Fios Channel 964. Written comments may be sent to the committee email at ccc.csit@boston.gov and will be made a part of the record and available to all councilors. Public testimony will be taken at the end of this hearing. Individuals will be called on in the order in which they sign up and will have 2 minutes to testify. If you're interested in testifying in person, please add your name to the sign-up sheet near the entrance of the chamber. If you're looking to testify virtually, please email our central staff liaison, Karishma, at karishma.chouhan@boston.gov for the link, and your name will be added to the list. Today, we will discuss one docket, number 0476, order for a hearing on technological improvements in Boston Public School bus transportation. These matters were sponsored by myself and were referred to the committee on March 6, 2024. Today, I am joined by my colleagues in order of arrival, Councilor at Large Erin Murphy, Councilor Ed Flynn, and the Council President, Ruthie Louis-Jean. We also received a letter of absence from District 6 City Councilor Ben Weber. I would like to now today's panelists consist of Carla Tankel, the Assistant Director of Routing and Planning, and Mr. Dan Rosengard, who is Executive Director of Transportation for the Boston Public Schools. We also have a second panel, which we will listen to after this, from Mr. Steve Randazzo, who is the Chief Growth Officer from Bus Patrol. At this moment, I will allow my council colleagues a brief opening statement before we get on with the presentation. Councilor Murphy.
And thank you for holding this hearing. Thank you for being here. Any way we can get our kids to school on time safely and to support our bus drivers and our parents, who so many rely on making sure the buses get our kids there. And I know also the technological improvements are going to help also the bus monitors and, the schools when the kids get dropped off, making sure that our kids are dropped off safely in New England weather, just waiting at bus stops and making sure you know when to go to the bus stop and if the bus is going to be late, or if you have to go pick up your kid, all of the things that are important. So looking forward to this conversation on how we can improve the technological improvements on the buses, and always up for conversations about making sure that all of our kids are getting to school on time, because I know that the percentage is improving, but we definitely have a long way to go in making sure that anyone who's assigned a bus gets to school safely and on time to be there to learn. So thank you, and looking forward to the conversation.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you to the administration team that is here and working hard to provide a safe environment for our children, our students, to get to school and back. And also, what I'm interested in is how we can ensure that students get to school safely and on time, and what challenges they expect as we soon approach the first day of school. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor. For the record, we've also been joined by Councilor John Fitzgerald. Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for holding this hearing, and thank you to everyone for being here. It's of utmost importance that we do everything we can to make sure our kids are getting to school on time. It's something that matters to all of us. I was just looking at kids on the school bus the other day and thinking about the work that you do. I know that there's a lot of inefficiencies, and you all have been steadfastly working, so I want to thank you. Colin and Dan is very happy that you are here before us to tell us about what you've been working on, how we are improving efficiency, how we're working with the bus drivers and TransDev to make things better. So just really looking forward to your testimony and to continue. And you all do a really great job of updating me and my office on what you're doing and on the improvements. So I want to thank you. And I also look forward to hearing the testimony of my former classmate, Steve Randazzo, and the work that they've been doing on the private side to really help us improve bus safety and transportation. So thank you. Looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Councilor Fitzgerald, would you like to give a brief opening statement?
Thank you, Chair. Thank you to the panel for coming. I know I visited you guys a couple months ago and saw a lot of what goes into making the bus ride safe. It's certainly no easy task transportating that many children each morning safely and on time. So I appreciate your efforts, and I look forward to how we can always help you improve. Thanks.
Thank you, Councilor. And for me, you all know that this is my passion. This is the topic that I chose as my maiden speech. We don't get nothing more in my district than the majority of the emails and phone calls. It's really about the transportation safety of students that are going to and from schools. If they're either waiting for the bus, they're walking to school, they just want to make sure that they're safe. And part of that is this new tracking system that we are about to learn from. So I just wanted to thank you so much for being here, and I'm excited to hear about what you'll have to share. So I'll pass it on to you.
Thank you so much, counselors. Really appreciate the opportunity for Carla and I to be here today. Really kind of resonate with what you all have said about the importance of getting our students to and from school safely and on time on a daily basis. That we understand how critical that is for students to have consistency, to have a good start to their day, to be able to be at school on time for breakfast and for the the start of their day. So we take really seriously the work that we do, and we're really excited to be here today to talk about the new technology that we're rolling out. Zoom is what it's called, ZUM, which I know is can be confusing because we're also meeting over Zoom right now. But the Zoom technology is something that we've been working for a couple of years now to get to the point to be ready to deploy this. And we rolled out this new technology for the summer, for extended school year, and just really appreciate the work that our team, that TransDev, that our bus drivers, our bus monitors have done to get us to this point. And we've been really encouraged by what we've seen so far this summer, and really excited to roll this out for the full school year. And I know there'll be more questions, but just at a very high level, what we're talking about here is, one, installing GPS navigation tablets on our buses, which is a long overdue change, replacing paper printout directions that drivers used previously. And two, an integrated tracking app for families that gives them more transparent and proactive information about their bus. And so, the prior Where's My School Bus system allowed them to kind of track the progress of a bus on a map. This new system through Zoom, the Zoom mobile app for families, gives them that, also gives them an ETA to their stop, how many stops are left before the bus arrives to their stop, automated notifications if the bus is running behind, as well as notifications to confirm when their student is picked up and dropped off, as well as additional features. And so really excited to be able to be here today to talk about this, and also want to let the counselors know, and I think you all either have been already or will be invited this Friday at our Washington Street bus yard in Roxbury. We'll be doing an event there as well with TransDev and the Zoom team to demo the technology and start to help get the word out to families before the start of the school year. So I'm really excited, and I'll pass it to my colleague Carla if there's anything she wants to add.
Thank you, Dan. Good morning, everybody. My name is Carla Tankel, and as many of you know, I am the Assistant Director of Routing and Planning. We are extremely excited about this new app. As a parent myself, and as my kids who have used the Yellow Bus in the past, I know how important this is. And I think Dan explained it most eloquently of what this process is going to be about. Councillor Pepin, I know this is something that you feel very strongly about. And as a parent, I do feel strongly also. So thank you so much for having us here, and looking forward to the question and answer session.
Absolutely. No, again, thank you so much to the both of you for being here and testifying at the hearing. What I'll do is now I'll allow my council colleagues to ask their questions. I'll give them, enough time to answer the questions you have, and if we have a second round of questions, we'll do that. And what we'll do is we will go on the round of the colleagues in order of arrival. So I'm going to start with Councilor Erin Murphy for the first round of questions.
Sure. Can I just ask a question? Were you going to go through the presentation?
That presentation is for
from
the second
panel? Awesome.
Yes. Yes, sorry. If you all have a packet on your
That's
on
for
your
the
desk.
second one?
That's for the second
Okay.
panel.
I mean, I guess just questions to dig in deeper to what you kind of mentioned in the opening statements about, I guess, what is the data showing you now, right? Obviously, you made this decision to invest in this new technology. And what are the hopes that you are hoping to get out of it? What are we lacking now that you hope that this new investment will give us and give our students?
Carla, you want to start? I can. Okay. Yeah. No. Thank you for that question. It's a really important one. We're doing this initiative. This is a big change. So along with that needs to be what are the success metrics, and I think for this school year there's two big ones that we want to measure and track, and they're tied to who are the key constituents and users of this technology. And so the first one is, uptake by the bus drivers. We're replacing paper directions with GPS navigation. We need to make sure that the drivers understand that technology, that they're using it well, that they're able to provide feedback so that we can improve it if we need to. And so our first goal is to make sure that close to 100% of drivers are able to successfully use the technology on a daily basis.
Are they given a tablet, or do they have to use it on their own devices?
Yep, so they're given a tablet. So every school bus has a tablet installed on it already. Or I should say, before the start of the year, we'll be at 100%. Right now, I think about 85% of the buses have them done already. The drivers are given training before their first day, on the bus using the new technology. So really appreciate and want to shout out our driver trainers over at TransDev who do an incredible job with this, and the drivers themselves who have really taken to it. And just at a high level, what we found is by the end of the first week of extended school year this summer, about 90% of the drivers were able to use the technology successfully on a daily basis. And by the end of ESY, or by about the middle of ESY, substantially all drivers were using it successfully on a daily basis. So that's, I would say, the first main, success measure. And then the second is parents. How many parents are using the app on a daily basis? And, again, making sure that we're getting their feedback and making improvements where we need to. And so for that, we need to get the message out to families. And so, really appreciate all of you and would love your assistance in getting the word out to your constituents to download and use the app. And then, of course, measuring how many of them are using it on a daily basis. I think it will take a little bit longer to gather the data on that. But what we understand from the Zoom team in other school districts is that about 80% of parents of students with disabilities use the app on a daily basis, and about 50 to 60% of general education students' families use the app on a daily basis. And so those, I think, are at least initial targets for us to work towards this school year.
Is the main interaction between the school bus driver and parents, or where does the school or your office play into this also? Do you interact with the app also, or does the school have access? Because many times parents will call the school, the secretary picks up. If I get calls, I know sometimes I call your office directly, will you have live interaction with it also?
We will, yes. And I think that is kind of focused on the driver and parent experience, but our team and the school teams will also have full access. And so I think the key difference is in the past, our tracking system was very reactive. We could track all of the buses, but it was up to, an individual on our operations or customer service team to say, let me search for this bus and track it because I just got a call from a parent. What happens now is in our office, and would love for folks to come by sometime in September and see this in real time. We now have, with the Zoom app, kind of a giant map up on a TV right in our operations hub, and every customer service team member has it on their screen as well. A map showing little dots for all the buses in the city, mostly hopefully green, meaning they're on time, but then when a bus is running late, it will flip from green to red, and that's a trigger for our team and for the dispatch team at TransDev to say, let me click into this, what's going on with this bus, let me find out, let me
How
support.
late does a bus have to be considered not green anymore, to be flipped to late?
We're saying about 20 minutes approximately, and then we will.
So it can be up to 20 minutes late to still be considered on time?
That's where we're,
Yeah.
not to say that it's still considered on time, but that's the initial trigger that we're setting to, let's have our operations team focus their attention there. And hopefully as we improve, we can
Shrink that.
metric down. And then just to the last part of your question, the schools have all the same access as well, just for the buses assigned to their school.
Yeah, they don't have to see the whole, okay.
Right.
Awesome.
And they are also getting training on that, and how to use the app.
Which school staff?
And
The
sorry, go on.
principal, the school secretary, and whoever the principal has identified as their main transportation lead
Yep.
are all automatically having accounts set up and being scheduled for trainings, and then the principal can identify additional
Other
staff
people.
members if they'd like.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Flynn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, thank you to the administration team. Can you talk about, I represent a large community that speaks Cantonese and Spanish, but let's focus on Cantonese. How are parents communicating through the app with their school on ensuring their children's buses arriving on time, getting to school on time? How is language and communication access impacting this app and students that speak Cantonese?
Sure. Yes, so obviously that's been very important to us, from our call center to using the app to instructions on how to use the app. We have it in, I don't know, maybe 10 plus different languages. And if there is more that anybody would like, we're happy to look into that too. So we will continue. I mean, language access is extremely important. And if somebody doesn't understand it, as I said, they can call our call center, and somebody there will speak Cantonese or whatever the language will be, and we'll be able to explain it to them. And they will also get letters in their language.
Do we know right now how many parents have signed up that speak Cantonese, signed up to get this app?
I don't have that information, but we could certainly get it.
Do we know how many in Spanish have signed up?
Not with me, but I could certainly get it. And we know that Spanish and Haitian Creole are the two most common first languages other than English within the district, but Cantonese, as well as many others, are spoken by a large number of.
But do you have that number now, or you just haven't tracked it yet?
We haven't broken down the data by that specific dimension yet, but we can.
Okay, I'd be interested in knowing who signed up. School's about to start very soon. So are we going to have this app without the app going forward without the interaction of the students, or are we going to ensure that the students and their parents catch up during the school year, or is this going to be all-inclusive at the start of the school year?
So we'll be starting a big communications push to families this week for them to download the app. We didn't want to start too early, but before there was anything for them to actually see in there. But we'll be, like I said, starting a big communications push this week, including here and on Friday at our Washington Street bus yard. There will be a letter going out to all families on Friday in their home language with instructions on how to download and use the app. And certainly before the start of the school year, we'll be able to look and see how many families have actually downloaded and, break that data down by different dimensions.
Well, I'm concerned because I often feel that BPS doesn't focus on Cantonese-speaking families as much as they should, and that's a priority for me. I have stressed this to the BPS team that this should be a priority as well. I don't think it is a priority. Why are we communicating so late in the game in this summer to Cantonese-speaking families?
Yeah, so what I would say is at the end of last school year, in June, we sent home a backpack letter to all families in their home language, letting them know that this was coming. But again, we didn't want families to go in and start downloading the app too soon when there was nothing for them to see there at that point in time. And so bus assignments will be coming out next week. And so this week is kind of in partnership with our communications team when we thought it made the most sense to really start a big communications blitz. And we'll certainly make sure that we're prioritizing and focusing in on our Cantonese speakers and other populations that might be harder to reach sometimes.
Before the school year starts, can you give me an update on the outreach you've done on Spanish-speaking families and Cantonese-speaking families? I want to make sure that they're fully engaged before the first day of school.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilor. At this time, we'll go with Madam President Louis-Jean.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a few questions, and I'm excited about this app and about the potential possibility. I do think that we need to make sure that there are parents who aren't as technologically savvy, and one thing that I know that past councils have done is really supported family liaisons, who I think are the ones engaging often with our families to help them walk through the process. So I just have some questions, and we've had hearings on this topic before, and I just want to make sure that we know them for the record. If you know what the current on-time percentage for student drop-offs and pickups is.
Current meaning over the summer or last school year?
This last school year, as we're thinking about the start of the new school year on September 5th.
Give me 1 second, and I just want to pull it up and make sure I give you the exact right number, but I can get that.
And then, okay, so I'll ask my, the next question is, how does that compare to data from the last few years? And how many pickups or drop-offs did not occur at all last school year? And how does that compare to previous numbers? So just that data comparison, would love to get that. I'll wait for you to get that as, yep.
Okay, so last school year, our morning on-time performance was 90% arriving on time, 98% within 15 minutes, and 99.4% within 30 minutes of on time. And less than 0.1% of scheduled trips didn't run.
Less than, yeah, so if it's 99.4% within 30 minutes, that means it's 0.6 that didn't run?
0.6 were more than 30 minutes late.
Or didn't run?
Or didn't run,
okay.
Yes. And so 0.1% didn't run, so I guess 0.5% were more than 30 minutes late.
So when we as counselors hear about those situations where there was no bus pickup, you're saying that that represents 0.1% of the overall buses that don't.
Correct.
Of the overall buses that are running.
Of the overall scheduled buses, that's right. Though certainly, a bus running more than 30 minutes late to some extent is not very much better than the bus not running at all, because by that point we know most families have already had to make alternative arrangements for that day. So I think we need to be laser focused on that as well.
So we could just say that the if there's a big problem here, it is in that 0.6%, or maybe even prior, because that 15 to 30 minute could also be disruptive. But if we're talking about 30 minutes or more or not arriving, we're talking about 0.6% of the overall number of scheduled buses that exist.
And then.
So when I hear the numbers, like in that perspective, it's like, oh, actually, these are humans who are driving buses. Like overall, it doesn't seem like it seems like we're doing pretty okay, is what I'm saying. But we hear about them as counselors, we hear about the situations where that are really disruptive, where a parent has to get an Uber, has to get, find some sort of other accommodation. How do we compare to other large cities when it comes to our, the on-time nature of our school buses?
It's a really, really good question. It's one that we also try very hard to answer. To be 100% honest with you, it is a very difficult question to answer. Most, if not all, urban school districts are not required to publicly release this data. We are required to publicly release it as part of the systemic improvement plan with DESE. When we have asked other school districts for this data, just to be 100% honest, there's not a lot of willingness
Desire
to
to
share,
be transparent.
desire to share. So it is a difficult question to answer with any specificity.
Okay. They don't have their city councils asking them these questions and then not then put on the record. All right. Okay. So I think that answers the second question. I have a question about bus monitors. Do we know how many bus monitors BPS currently employs, and what's the policy for assigning bus monitors to buses?
Yep. So we ended last school year with just under 750 bus monitors, which is 750 is the fully staffed marker for us. Because of just normal attrition and some people move on to other opportunities. Right now we have 710 of those bus monitors are still active, and we've submitted 61 new candidates for hire, and they're working through the hiring and onboarding process right now. And so we expect to start this school year, fully staffed, if not slightly above that as well. And then to the second part of your question, bus monitors are assigned for students with disabilities within the IEP process. And so that is it's an IEP team decision based on student-specific needs for students who need additional support on the bus.
So if there's a bus that transports 25 students, let's say, but then none of those students have an IEP, there would not be a bus monitor on the bus?
So all of our smaller buses, and so we have 4 different types of bus. The big full buses, we call them half safety, mini safety, and wheelchair bus. Those last 3 categories, all of those buses have a general bus monitor on every bus. Now that general monitor's primary responsibility is supporting any general monitor required students, but they are on that bus, of course, and can support all of the students on board the bus. Our full buses do not by default have bus monitors on board, but some of the schools do opt to put what we call bus attendants on board, which is a staff member who's there to support all the students on board the bus, rather than being focused on the students who require a bus monitor based on their disability or specific need.
Okay, thank you. That's I did not know that. I appreciate that, and I want to also shout out 2 of my colleagues, Councilor Fernandez Anderson and Councilor Weber, who are working to help to increase the pay that our school monitors, our bus monitors get, because it's not enough. I think this is a question that we'll hear later on when we have our second panel, but just to you and just to lay the foundation, are there cameras installed inside and outside of the school buses right now?
Yes.
There are. And what do we use that data for? Like, what are we monitoring for? Is it more internally monitoring for the safety of the
Yes,
student?
safety.
So there's 2 cameras on board every bus. One which faces outwards, and that camera is primarily used, in case there's a bus crash or any sort of safety incident for that follow-up. And then there's one camera installed facing towards the bus driver. And both of those cameras are tied to a system called Lytx DriveCam, which the TransDev safety team uses, and that system automatically flags any potential violations or unsafe driving or near crashes or anything like that for follow-up by the TransDev safety team with the driver, whether that's additional coaching that's needed or what have you.
Okay, thank you. My time's up, so I will, if there's a second round, I'll wait for a second round for my additional questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to acknowledge that we've been joined by City Councilor Sharon Durkin. We're in the first round of questions right now, but I'd like to pass it on to Councilor Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Chair. Couple of just rudimentary questions at first, but the tablet that's located on the bus, where is that located? How is it secured? It's not in the driver's hands. I imagine there's some sort of like safe, secure place where it can't get ripped off or anything like that.
Kind of like where you have your phone in your car. It's kind of mounted.
I don't look at my phone in my car. I'm a safe
No.
driver, Carla.
They don't look at the iPad either unless they're stopped.
No.
And it's locked into a cradle mount. So
That's, yeah.
yeah, so it can't be removed, and it's hardwired in, so it's always, you know, charging from the bus's power and all that.
Thank you very much. The letter that it goes out to at the end of the school year that just went out telling people about this app upcoming in their home language, does that only go out to the students who take the bus? Only because, I mean, I need to do a better job at looking at my kid's backpack every day, but I do not recall seeing that letter. But then again, my child is able to walk to school, so I don't know. Does it only go to the kids that are written down as transportation?
No, it does go out to all students.
It does.
You know, especially because we know often, you know, if students changing schools between school years, maybe their transportation eligibility is going to change. But at the same time, it went out the second week of June, and probably there's lots of communications going out at that point in time. So certainly don't fault anyone for not seeing it.
I appreciate the cover. Thank you. You guys are doing the Welcome to Kindergarten programs, or BPSs. Are you guys involved in pushing the app out through these, especially, right, if you're putting your kindergarten on the bus, for sure, I imagine 100% of parents are going to be saying, I'm going to want to watch the app. Is there any communication with them to use that Welcome to Kindergarten program as a way to push out the information on this app?
Yes, we'll. All the staff working there will be aware of and have a flyer that's available in all the BPS languages to share with families.
That's great. I appreciate that.
And just to add, if you don't mind, we're also working with the Office of Neighborhood Services, making sure that they get out to their constituents. Obviously, they have a reach that we may not have. And also, looking to have your support and the council's support in helping us get it out also. Social media, it's already been in the news. Whatever we can do, communication is key.
Yeah, if there is a flyer that you could send to the chair, I'm sure he could send it out to all of us, and we'd be happy to post that and help amplify it. So thank you very much. No, you know what? That's it for now. I really do appreciate it. I think you guys are doing a great job. And again, having gotten a tour of your office and all the great people that work there and the high stress environment that comes at drop off and pick up times each morning, I can only imagine. But you guys seem to handle it very well. And I know that, of course, it's not always the easiest phone calls to get or explanations to give. But we know that you guys are making the improvements, and look forward to helping you in any way we can. So thank you. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Durkin?
Thank you so much, Chair, and really appreciate being here. I had a great tour of BPS transportation sometime in the last 6 months. It's all been really a whirlwind, but I really appreciate both of your leadership, Carla and Dan. I know we did hear some frustrating things about, people, bus drivers having to use MapQuest. It felt very, it felt very 20 years ago when I first started. I remember when I started driving at 16, you'd print out your things and, you'd have to know where to go. But I'm really excited to hear about some of the improvements, and I know that our bus drivers were dealing with, that's a tough position to be in, but oftentimes once you do it for the 10th time, then you know where you're going, and you don't need it as much. But it was really those folks that were filling in that were having the greatest struggle. So I appreciate, I think BPS transportation has a really difficult job. It's to get students around the city, and I think, I think I really commend you for all that you do. I have a couple questions, and I'll just read them into the record, and then, so I really, because I don't have I have one K-8 school, and not a ton, and obviously the new ML King school is also in my district, but I think there's a couple, and I guess the list of schools in my district kind of dictates that, like, because a lot of people are being transported from anyone who's in my district that's being transported, there needs to be a lot of like parent student communication happening. So wanted to ask these 3 questions. What can parents do now to help make transportation go smoothly in the fall? How can parent guardians help support student safety on the bus? And when will parents and guardians be notified about the students' transportation for this upcoming school year?
So, hi, Councillor Durkin, how are you? I think for your first question, if a parent can download the app, I think that's going to be really important. There's also an option for the parent to upload a picture of the child, so that's going to be extremely important. We would strongly recommend that parents do that. It will be safe, it will be more efficient. It will not only assist the parents, but it will also assist the bus drivers on knowing who's coming on, who's going off. So if there's anything that I could recommend for the start of the school year, it's do that. So.
No, thanks, Carla. And then I want to first I really appreciate you kind of pointing out in particular, one, that driving a school bus is a very difficult job, and we really, really appreciate, and our drivers do a fantastic job, and I think they've really taken to the Zoom technology and shown a willingness to really jump in and learn, and also they've provided some helpful feedback to us to make sure that we're using it in a way that really works for everybody. And particularly, as you said, the substitute or standby drivers who do a different route every single day are really, I think, going to benefit from having the tablet rather than the printout. And then the last thing, I think your third question was just when will parents be notified of their transportation for the upcoming year? And as we have in past years, we'll send out bus assignments by mail and email. Probably the beginning of the last week in August, so August 26th range. But also, I would double down on the recommendation for parents to download the app, because they'll see their student's bus assignment in the app probably before they get that mail notification. And if there's any change throughout the year, that'll always reflect in the Zoom app.
And then the other question was, how can parents support safety on the bus?
So I think first and foremost, I would second Carla's recommendation for parents to consider uploading a picture of their student. That will help the schools, it will help our team, it will help the drivers to make sure that the right students are getting on and off the bus at the right spot. And then secondly, I think just working with parents working with their students and schools. The school bus is really an extension of the classroom, and the same culture and community that exists in the classroom, the same behavioral norms, all that extends to the school bus. And so I think parents are a key part of helping students understand those and make sure that the school bus is a safe and welcoming environment for all students.
And I know, I won't belabor, I know we've gotten so deep into some of the issues that certain community members have had with BPS transportation, like very, minute stuff of like being picked up on like the wrong side of the street one day and stuff like that, where it's like we live in such an urban environment and like urban core in District 8 where like getting picked up on the wrong side of the street can mean like taking like a 5 or 6 minutes and thinking you're gonna miss the bus. And I know we've gone deeply into those, and I really appreciate your partnership. I think I really also appreciated seeing that 311 has an equivalent at BPS Transportation, a sort of like and I don't know, a call center that people can call into, and getting to see a lot of the structures. I don't have much suggestions right now for what you could do better other than, update technology, which is what you're doing. So I just really appreciate the partnership, and I know, it can be frustrating for families when things aren't perfect, but I know from having met the folks that are working on this, they truly care. They want everyone to get home safe. I just really appreciate, and there's, little things like kids deciding they're going to go to their friend's house instead of getting on the bus, and it creates an emergency, and I think, but knowing that that's the kind of stuff that happens in an urban environment sometimes, and that's the kind of thing that happens, with school age kids, and just knowing that VPS Transportation is doing everything they can to get that, and having toured the site, I'm very convinced of that, and thank you both for your leadership.
Thank you, Councilor.
Thank you, Counselor. I guess it's my turn. Set up my own timer real quick. All right, so just first of all, thank you so much to the questions that have already been asked, because I think that my colleagues have some great questions, and for your responses as well. Out of curiosity, when the application becomes available to all parents, will there be trainings available to teach parents how to use them? Our Council President asked a really good question about just parents being different levels of tech savviness. I want to make sure that there's trainings, and then will there be how-to videos of how to use the new app?
Yep. So when the welcome letter goes out this Friday to families of all bus eligible students, it will include a link to a flyer, the same flyer that we'll share with you, as well as a link to a FAQs page that kind of goes through just how to download the app, how to log in for the first time, and the simple questions. And then if any families do have, further questions, or it's helpful to get further, training, we just recommend they call our transportation hotline, 617-635-9520. That team is staffed 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. and those folks are amazing, and they can help any parents work through any challenges they're having.
Okay, well, that's good. Thank you so much for setting that up, Parati. And in regards to the bus drivers, I know that, Carla, you mentioned that parents will have the option to put the pictures of their child, but what's the mechanism for them to track how many students are on their bus with the new app?
The parents?
No, the driver.
Oh, the driver. So it will tell them how many kids on the app, how many kids are supposed to be on the bus.
No, but I mean the day of, are they able to track? So let's say Enrique gets on, John gets on, Sharon gets on,
Yeah.
Ruth, are they able to put that onto the app to just alert the parent that their child is on the bus?
Yes. So as the child is on the bus, they'll be able to, Johnny's on the bus, Sarah's on the bus. As they get on, they will be putting them in the system, in the iPad.
Okay, that's good.
So at each stop, they'll see a list of, when they pull up to the stop, they'll see a list of students assigned to that stop, and then for each student, they'll be able to mark either picked up or, no show that day. And also, I guess one other thing that parents can do that I'll maybe missed earlier, but I'll flag here, is parents within the app can cancel in advance if they know their student's not going to be riding the bus that day, and that will alert the driver in advance. And if they're the only student at that stop, then the driver actually won't need to go to that stop, and it will kind of dynamically reroute the bus, which will help improve our efficiency and timeliness. And if there's multiple students at that stop, the driver would just see, in advance that student had canceled for the day.
That's brilliant. I was literally just about to ask that question. So I'm glad that that's part of the new system. And you actually made me think about another question, and it is, how long does a bus driver wait for a student if they're not at the location?
It's an important question. So we ask parents to provide or anticipate a plus or minus 10-minute window from the scheduled stop time. And when a driver arrives to the stop, parents are asked to be outside with their students, within that 10-minute window. And then when the bus arrives to the stop, the driver is asked to stop, open the door, put out their stop arm, look around, and if there's no student there, they will they will proceed on. And unfortunately, that is important for the driver to be able to complete their route on time. One of the good things about the Zoom app is I think in the past, parents could see the bus moving around the map, but there was limited information that they were getting in terms of tracking the bus. The Zoom app provides additional information. It'll say, 4 stops away, 3 stops away, 2 stops away, bus is now arriving. And so that, I think and hope and believe will help families get a more accurate ETA of when the bus is going to arrive, which will help them to make sure they're outside at the right time.
So would you say that this app is comparable to like Uber and Lyft, where when you're waiting for your driver, you can track them live and you can see literally where the car is? Like, would you say this is comparable? Would parents use a similar model?
I would say yes.
I think it's from what I've seen so far, it's very similar.
Okay. I would actually say it's a little bit better because you can literally see the vehicle right on the map and it's like moving.
Okay.
So, yeah.
This is good. Previously, you mentioned that the buses do have cameras on them. How old are they? Are they new technology or are they old technology?
The cameras are, I'm not sure when they were installed. I don't know off the top of my head, but the TransDev maintenance team does a great job maintaining those cameras, and every single day they're able to get a report of any cameras that are not like pinging, and then they'll work to either fix or replace the camera on that bus.
Okay. Would BPS be interested in the implementation of stop sign cameras technology in the future?
Yeah, I really appreciate you asking this question and this topic being part of the hearing today. I think we know, unfortunately, that this is a big challenge, and that, while the vast majority of drivers are very conscientious and stop for the school bus, that every day there are cars that drive by the school bus when the bus is stopped and the stop arm is out, and this, creates obviously a huge safety risk for students. And so I think anything that we can do to improve student safety, and one of them, one I think great idea would be putting stop arm cameras on buses and allowing for enforcement of stop arm violations. So we would be very interested and I'm really excited to hear from the next panelist about the experience they've had in Peabody.
Absolutely. The reason why I always bring that up is I stood at the intersection of Albano Street and Washington Street in Rosendale, and it was the afternoon drop-off time. And I was there because a parent literally emailed me saying, "Hey, we're having this issue with cars keep violating the stop sign." I kid you not, when the bus gets there, puts out the stop sign, a car zooms by. And kids were waiting to cross Washington Street, which is obviously one of our busiest streets in my district. And I do want to thank Carla because at a different intersection closer to Poplar Street and Beach Street in Rosendale, you actually helped the parents by moving the pickup location to a safer location. So thank you for doing that and thinking about different ways to change it. But I think that I believe that there's 28 states at the moment that legally can use stop signs, cameras on the stop signs, cameras for enforcement. Massachusetts cannot, Boston cannot legally use cameras for enforcement. But in the next panel, we are going to hear that Peabody, Massachusetts did a pilot program to just track how many cars are violating the stop sign in the first 5 weeks. Over 800 vehicles violated that stop sign. So with that, I just want to thank you. And I will allow my colleagues, if they have a second round of questions before we listen from our second panel, to ask you questions. Council President, do you have a second round? Absolutely.
Thank you. And thank you for your questions, Chair. Councilor Durkin had mentioned how there are students who are sometimes assigned to buses, but then they have an extracurricular or they decide to go to their friend's home. So I think it's interesting that there will be ways with this app to the one-offs, if people are actually end up using, and we hope that they do, they end up using the technology for the one-offs. But we also know that there are more students who are assigned to a bus than who actually use the bus. which leads to a lot of inefficiencies in the system. It leads to a lot of cost. So is there a way that this app will also help us to address that inefficiency, and maybe it ends to like redesigning sort of bus routes or decreasing the number of buses that we have on the road because we have more students assigned to buses than you actually using them. So how is this going to get at that, or what are you doing to get at that?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question. It is something that we're absolutely thinking about. When the Council of Great City Schools did their transportation review as part of the Systemic Improvement Plan a little over a year ago, this was one of their key recommendations, and certainly was part of the motivation for implementing some of this technology. And so what I would say is our Transportation Advisory Council actually kind of formally made a recommendation to the district this past spring that we first get to the point where we can accurately track ridership, and then secondly, once we do that, that we implement a procedure where if a student is not using their bus assignment for X number of consecutive days, that we take them off the bus roster to make the route more efficient. And of course, families could always reinstate the bus if they need it later. So it is our goal to get to that point. I think the first step of that has to be how do we accurately track ridership data. And so part of the implementation this fall is going to be looking at the student ridership data we're getting every day based on the drivers tapping students on and off the buses, and doing whatever we need to do to get to a point where we can, we feel confident in that data. And then from there, we would hope at some point, whether it's kind of next spring or the subsequent school year, to get to the point where we're actually only keeping the students on the routes who are actually using the bus every day.
Thank you. Yeah, I agree. That's a first step. And I also agree with offlining folks who are not. Of course, there's some sort of notice prior to parents to make sure that there's. Okay, great. And then you said the Transportation Advisory Council. Another one was my question was: is there an active working group or task force dedicated to discussing transportation issues around our public schools? But is that what the Transportation Advisory Council is? And is that made up of parents, of teachers, of a mixed bag of folks who are giving your department advice on how to improve?
Exactly, yeah. So we have had a Transportation Advisory Council in place since, I believe, January, February 2023 was their first meeting. And that group is made up of basically, all of our stakeholders. So there's parent representation, there's SPEDPAC representation, there's school representation, non-BPS schools that we service, as well as some internal to the district and our team representation. And that group meets more or less monthly, and to share knowledge, to hold us accountable, and to make recommendations for how we can continue to improve.
Great. How do you become a member of that council?
So that group was set up based on kind of a working group, like I said, in January of 2023, and I think as a council. Is it your department that selects, who's selecting the members of the council? It was.
Is it like an informal process, or does it have to be a number of?
So the initial group was set up kind of based on our team, as well as the Office of Family and Community Advancement and the recommendations made by the Council of Great City Schools. And I think, and since that time, the council itself, periodically we try to reflect and say, do we need to change our constituency in any way?
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
You mentioned a constituency that I had a question about, and it's also something that Councilor Braden with the amount of money that we're often spending on out-of-school transportation for students out of district, and I know that your office ends up dealing with the sort of like the back end, not the how you actually got there, but what are we doing to improve costs and efficiencies around the amount of money that we're spending on sending kids out of district, especially in situations, I guess that's the question. And I know that there are other areas that we need to improve, in our equitable services department to make sure that there are lots of kids that we are sending out of district who we could be educating within our Boston Public Schools. It ends up being a large cost expenditure for the city. So wondering, from your perspective, are there efficiencies that we can be gaining when it relates to the students who are transporting out of district?
Yeah, I think it's a really important question. This group is our most vulnerable students, and certainly if they're placed out of district, it's because that is that school meets whatever their specific needs are that has been determined that it can't be met within the district. From a transportation perspective, it is a very costly to transport these students. And so many of these students are the only or one of 2 or 3 students going to their specific school. And so, the cost per pupil to transport these students is significantly above what we see otherwise. It's about $45,000 a year to transport each of these students. So from a cost perspective, it is a very, very significant part of our budget. I think I would have to defer to the Office of Specialized Services around some of the broader thinking around enrollment of that population and those questions. But certainly it's a big focus for us from a cost perspective.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, I have 2 other questions. I could either ask them now or I can come back. Okay. These 2 hopefully short questions. Are any buses equipped with automatic emergency braking systems or other advanced safety technologies?
Automatic emergency braking systems, no. And in terms of kind of all of I would want to speak to our fleet team who knows the specs of the buses much better than me. So that's certainly an area we can kind of follow up on.
Okay, thank you. And then my last question is, I'm a city councilor. I get a call from a parent that my student, my kid's bus hasn't shown up. I have to get to work. There's no other way. I can't get my kid to school. I know that there's a hotline that they can call. Sometimes they're not able to get through. What is the procedure? Like, what are we supposed to be telling parents, what's available to them? That will BPS pay for an alternative method of transportation, especially if we're talking about 0.6% of 30 minutes or more, or 0.1% at all. So just how do you want us to move in this space? Because this is a question that we end up getting often during the school year. So how do you want us to triage those issues?
Sure. Obviously, parents can call our customer service line at any time and talk to one of the agents there. As John said earlier, they're there from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. If there is something that needs to be dealt with right now that you have to deal with, obviously, please feel free to have your staff reach out to me directly, and I can absolutely help them. Feel free to, give out emails, whatever is needed. Obviously, it's really important that these children get to where they're going on a timely manner. So,
okay, thank you. I want to thank both of you. You both have been phenomenal in so many situations where we've had to pull you in on constituent issues, but even on helping kids get to extracurricular activities. So I just want to thank you for all your work. It's often thankless, but it doesn't go unnoticed, so thank you.
Thank you, Council President. I do want to acknowledge that we've been joined by Councilor Gabriela Colera Zapata. We are in the second round of questions, so I will allow you to do
Thank you.
your statement question.
Thank you so much, Chair, and I apologize that I'm late, but it's good to see you all. Hi, Carla.
Hi.
So happy to have you back in the city of
Thank you.
Boston. We missed you. Dan, thank you so much for your work. I know this is not an easy job. It's very stressful. So appreciate the move to do this. And thank you to Council Pepin, too. You have a unique way of bringing issues that hit everyday Bostonians to the council and creating a really effective and efficient conversation around them. First it was private ways, now it's this, and many other hearing orders, so I just want to say thank you so much. This was something that we were looking into for street sweepers, and so we were able to get a route optimization pilot in this year's budget. And so I am so interested, from ideation to execution, operationalize this for me. How did you get this done? I'm sure you had to put an RFP out. What did that look like? Can you just walk me through this so then we can replicate the successful model and other city departments?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that question, and it really was a multi-year process to get us to this point. It was something that was very much already on our radar, but as part of the Council of Great City Schools review of BPS transportation, they flagged this as kind of one of the most impactful steps that the district could and should take to improve transportation, and so that pushed us to, I guess, move it up our priority list and make sure that we got it done quickly. We wrote and deployed an RFP a little over a year ago, and then in September of last year, awarded the contract to Zoom following the RFP process, and then it really has been a 9-month implementation since that time, working with the Zoom team to make sure that we're kind of thoughtfully implementing, deploying, and rolling out this technology across the district. And so I would say, it takes time, but it very much has been worth it.
Thank you. And what sort of investments does this take? Like, how much are you paying Zoom for a contract? How much does materials cost, the tablets, all of that? And I guess maintenance as well, too, given that we know something is going to go wrong. So what does maintenance look like moving forward? How can we pivot if something were to go awry?
Yep.
And how much would that cost? Like, moving forward, like, what's the maintenance cost for our BPS budget moving forward?
So for BPS transportation, we maintain, or I should say TransDev maintains all of our buses in-house. We have full maintenance teams of certified mechanics at each of our 3 bus yards. So we've been able to kind of roll this into that. Our buses previously had a different GPS technology on board, and so much of this is replacing that, and it's just kind of the tablet part that is new on the bus. And so, big shout out, the maintenance team over at TransDev does a great job with that, and we've been able to kind of roll that into our existing maintenance team and maintenance budget. And if you give me a minute or two, I can pull up and tell you exactly what the annual cost for Zoom is.
And I should know this, but and maybe you need some time to understand this too, but what is the number within our fleet of buses that will have this?
We have about 750 school buses in our fleet. We run 630 to 640 on a daily basis, and 100% of those buses will be outfitted with the Zoom technology.
That's great. And then we're getting specifics on the amount of money.
Yes, John's
Yes.
gonna look
Okay,
that
great.
up.
Just
And-
pulling it up.
No problem. And while you're doing that, I'm seeing here that this technology will be able to mitigate against reckless driving. Maybe that's for the next panel, because it's in his presentation or their presentation. We just had Grubhub and DoorDash in here talking about their inability to track reckless driving of their own drivers. And I just find it fascinating that we're able to do this with school buses, but not for those individuals. So maybe, I don't know if you can speak to that, like how you're able to understand that these folks are speeding or trying to figure out if they're running stop signs, and how we might be able to replicate that with some of our DoorDash and Grubhub-like partners.
Yes, so it sounds like the next panelist might be able to speak to this a little bit as well. Excited to hear that portion. But for our piece, our buses are outfitted with Lytx DriveCam technology, and that includes 2 cameras on board each bus, as well as some additional hardware, and that technology flags potential unsafe driving instances, and then the TransDev safety team investigates and follows up appropriately based on that.
Cool, thank you.
And then, let's see if I can tell you the price is, so it's a little over $500,000 a year for the Zoom technology. We have a 3-year contract with them, And then in addition to that, there was about $1 million of upfront implementation costs for all of the tablets and the other hardware.
Was this ESSER money? No, right? Or was it?
No, this was an investment we put into our operating budget.
Okay, great. Do you have any idea of what will happen after 3 years with this contract?
I think, we're excited to see how the, how the first full year goes, and then from there.
Reassess.
we'll
But we can reassess some of the terms after
what
that.
what I would say is, this isn't going away, right? We're not going back to paper directions at any point in the future. So whether it's continuing with Zoom or another RFP, if there's turns out there's somebody else on the market that can do it better, but we're not going back at any point.
Hopefully I can get this technology from my parents. They still use MapQuest, so that's a different story. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Counselor. Counselor Fitzgerald, do you have any second round questions?
Some quick ones. The tablet that's in the bus, can it be used for anything else? The driver won't be able to get on the internet?
Go on Facebook.
Yeah, right. No other distraction is provided through that. That's great. And then the cameras that are on the inside of the bus, does that, I guess it can be used, I know you said it's for the driver, essentially. But do the kids know there's a camera on the inside, and does that I'm thinking about sort of monitoring behavior, because I know a lot of incidents occur on the bus, and if kids know that, well, hey, don't do that because there's a camera inside, if it might help dissuade some bullying or other things that kind of go down. But I don't know, do students know that there's a camera on the inside of the bus, or is that just, and if so, do we use it at all to monitor?
Yeah,
I know it's not a transportation question really, but it's on the bus, so.
Yeah, they can, I don't think we tell them, but they can see it.
Yeah.
So the parents know it's on there, so.
Yep.
But yeah, this is one of the reasons why we have it. It's for situations like that, bullying or different things happening, and we do get requests for video.
Okay.
So it's really important to have.
Nope. Yeah, thank you. That's it. That's all. I appreciate it, Council.
Thank you. My very last question for you, if someone doesn't have a smartphone, are they able to use this on their laptop?
Yep. So it's a Android and iOS app. So you do need the app, but as I understand it, you could download the app on an iPad or an Apple computer instead of a smartphone. But it's not a web browser. No. But then I think the other piece of this that I would say is our hope and belief in the experience that other districts have seen with Zoom is that as parents get more used to the technology, that reduces the number of parents that need to call into the hotline on a daily basis. And so what our hope is that for parents who do need to rely on the hotline, this will reduce the wait times for them so that they can get through to somebody and speak to a representative, when they need it.
Okay, it's really helpful.
Do you mind if I just jump in and go
Absolutely.
back on a couple of the questions that councillors had? So we just, and I don't like this word, but we kind of piloted this the Zoom app through our ESY program for the summer, just to kind of see how it would work, get people's thoughts, and we've really had really good feedback on it. I was telling Dan the other day, I had a neighbour, Mark, whose child is in the ESY program, special needs, and he called me about something else, and he was just talking so enthusiastic about this app, just being able to know where his kid is, so hearing things like that from people, from parents, specifically special needs parents, using the app and loving it, it's just really important. It's really great to hear. And Councillor Drucker brought up about buses on, the wrong side of streets picking up and so on and so forth. I really want to shout out our transportation officers who day in and day out are just routing hundreds and hundreds of kids. They know their neighborhoods so well. They'll come to me and they'll say, well, this student can't, get picked up over here. Why are they getting picked up over here? They're crossing a highway, try to get to the other side. And they will go in and they will reroute that. And as this app is used, it will update itself to say, hey, you know, you can't go to that side of the street. So that's just something that we are really looking forward to. But I really just wanted to shout out the transportation officers. They're amazing. They work so hard, and the amount of kids and the amount of work they do is just truly exceptional.
Thank you, Carla. And I do got to say that when we released that we were doing this hearing, I did get a message from one of the parents that was currently using Zoom because of the summer program, and they had the same sentiment of that it's a lot better, and that they're feeling hopeful for the next school year. So I'm excited to see how it's going to work in BPS with parents this school year. And just thank you guys for implementing it. Thank you for investing into this program. I'm excited to see how it works. So hopefully I'll be there on Friday.
Yes,
Thank you.
come Friday.
Okay.
Please.
Learn more.
Thank you. But with that, I'll allow you to sit in the audience to listen to our second panel, and thank you so much for being here. At this time, I do want to call up Mr. Steve Randazzo, the Chief Growth Officer for Bus Patrol. Wherever you feel comfortable.
Just a sec.
And we've got the presentation going to go. Perfect.
Because my eyesight is not that great.
No worries. And you have the clicker with you?
I do.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. Oh, even that. That's even better.
All right. It's all yours.
All right. Madam President, Mr. Chair, and other council members coming in and out. It's a pleasure to be here today. I'm Steve Randazzo, Chief Growth Officer of Bus Patrol America. We are a public safety technology company that is focused on the school bus, and happy to be here today as a subject matter expert, talk to you a little bit about the technology, the pilot program in Peabody, talk to you about what's going on around the country, and happy to answer as many questions as you may have today. A little bit about me. I am a former public school teacher out in the South Bronx in New York. I did that for a few years. Went to grad school with your esteemed council president, so she gave me a run for my money in a lot of our policy classes. But after that, I went back where I'm from, out in New York, Long Island, the other Suffolk County. I was a county official out there for a couple years. And in that time, New York passed a law back in 2019 allowing the use of these school bus stop arm cameras. People call them, different states call them different names, but they're essentially cameras that get affixed to the outside of the school bus that help school districts, law enforcement, community-driven public-private partnerships. Bus Patrol is happy to be part of many of those around the country. But what essentially the stop arm cameras do is they detect when a car illegally passes a stopped school bus, when kids are getting on and off the school bus, when the red lights are flashing and the stop arm is out. And then that video gets transmitted typically to law enforcement that has the authority to write a traffic ticket. And it's the idea that we just don't station police officers behind. I mean, BPS has 750 school buses. It's just not practical to install cameras, to have physical police officers trailing school buses before and during the school route every day. So this is a place where lots of states around the country have deemed automated enforcement to be a place that makes a lot of sense. So I now serve as the Chief Growth Officer of Bus Patrol. We are the top school bus stop arm enforcement camera service provider in the country. We're on about 30,000 school buses across 16 states. And we just by kind of just to take a look at the numbers, of all the school buses that have stop arm cameras equipped on them today around the country, Bus Patrol is on about 9 out of every 10 of those buses around the country. So really proud of those partnerships that we have all along the East Coast, and really actually heading out west in many new states that have more recently adopted the school bus stop arm camera legislation. But that's what we do. Our mission is, and I think there are a couple of reasons why I think school districts and communities gravitate to this technology, and particularly the Bus Patrol program. And our mission is to make the ride to and from school safer for all kids. We really feel like this is a student safety equity issue, as well as a general public safety, transportation safety issue. Because even when you introduce stop arm cameras to a community, parents and community members and transportation advocates invariably ask the question, well, what kids got the stop arm camera technology, which ones didn't? And the way we've really addressed and approached this question is every bus, every kid, every child's safety is equally valued, equally important. And really, aside from the equity issue, it's really the secret sauce to changing driver behavior. When drivers in a community realize it doesn't matter if it's that bus or the bus in the other, in the other part of town, it's really this kind of, it's hard to do, but it's really this conditioning of drivers. Much like when you see an officer, 100 yards down the road on the highway, you tend to slow down, you tend to be on your best behavior. Our sense is, why not make that same reaction present in the average driver's mind when they see a school bus? It's large, it's yellow, it's designed to be seen really from very far distances. It has red flashing lights. If someone says, I didn't see the bus, I might argue you might not have really been paying attention, or maybe you weren't conditioned to see the bus as much as you should have been. So what we have now today, I talked about 30,000 school buses, 16 states, some of the largest school districts in the country, and a lot that are close to home here in Boston. We're going live on every school bus in the city of Providence for back to school, just in a couple of weeks. Bridgeport, Connecticut. Of course, the pilot in Peabody, which I'll talk about. We also have 2 emerging pilots that are coming in Massachusetts, one in Salem that'll be launching in just a few weeks. And we also have a verbal commitment from Worcester, who saw a lot of the press and publicity and now wants to do a pilot as well. So that should be forthcoming. And just around the country, some of the largest school districts in the country, kind of comparable or even larger than BPS, places like Prince George's County, Maryland, Montgomery County, Maryland, that's in the DC suburbs. We just went live across all 950 buses in Miami-Dade County. Florida passed the school bus stop arm camera law just last year. And we're going live in Hillsborough County, which is Tampa, actually today. All 1,100 school buses outfitted with the school bus stop arm cameras. So today, just some key messages. I kind of alluded to this, but one, I want to talk to folks about the problem, what's happening on the streets here in Massachusetts, what's happening around the country, illegal passing of stopped school buses, and frankly, reckless driving is at an all-time high. I want to talk a little bit about community-driven efforts here in the Commonwealth. There have been some fantastic parent advocates and community groups sprouting up, calling for change at the state level, and some pilot programs that we're now running that have really shed to light some really alarming data around what's actually happening on the roads. And then I'm happy to walk you through a little bit about the state legislation that is still making its way through the State House. It's now H 4940, and I'll walk you through a little bit of that if we have time. So starting with the problem. So school bus drivers actually take part in a survey every year where they are asked to manually count how many illegal passes happen with their eyes, usually over the course of a few days. And I imagine that the BPS drivers participate in this survey. It's a national, nonpartisan survey run by an organization called NASDIPS. And then that data gets aggregated at the state level and the national level. And it is estimated that illegal school bus stop-arm passes by motorists happen over 45 million times a year around the country. Just a staggering number, and that's 45 million times a child could be seriously injured, could lose his or her life, a family transformed forever. It's absolutely unacceptable. And this is really robust data. 98,000 school bus drivers participate in this survey. So this is sound data. The thing about the data is the school bus drivers are generally have a couple of other things to do. They got to make sure they're keeping their eyes on the road, make sure that the kids are not acting up. So we actually feel that the camera technology suggests that this number might even be understated a bit, believe it or not. So why is this happening? This is not gonna be rocket science here. Really this is the primary cause. People are texting and driving and distracted more than ever before. Our cars are also kind of being designed to distract us. I mean, no offense to Elon Musk, but our cars are starting to resemble spaceships, so really hard to kind of keep your eyes on the road when you've got so many things in your car distracting you. And then there are a lot of studies out, and even coming from places like the New York Times and others, that really out of COVID, there's been just more erratic driving, more reckless driving than ever before. I think people were cooped up, and I think that had a toll on people's mental health. And I think that it's even years later translated to more aggressive driving. And then when you kind of overlay that against, this is a difficult violation to police and enforce using traditional enforcement. You kind of have the perfect storm of just a very dangerous situation that's emerged. So love data. This is one that comes from Pennsylvania. We did a pilot program in a place called Allentown, Pennsylvania. They have over 30,000 school buses in the state of Pennsylvania. And a few years ago, before they passed their stop-arm camera law, officers across the state, across all school days, across all 30,000 school buses, issued about 660 illegal school bus passing tickets to motorists. We did a pilot program in Allentown, small city, on just 2 school buses across just 47 school days. And those 2 school buses captured 205 violations. And what I like to say is that is what's happening on the road. So when people say, well, how many tickets were issued? How do you know how often this is happening? The challenge is traditional enforcement is not capturing what's happening on the roads. The cameras really tell you what's happening, and the section on the right really suggests what's happening on the roads, not only in places like Allentown, but around the country. We did a pilot program in a couple different counties. Down in Florida, they have county-based school districts. Duval County, which is Jacksonville. Santa Rosa is on the Panhandle. Brevard is on the Space Coast if you ever go to Cape Canaveral and catch a cruise. And then Hillsborough is Tampa. Miami-Dade, of course, is Miami. All across the state of Florida, data suggests anywhere between 2 to 5 illegal passes per bus per day. An absolutely staggering number that got the attention of the Florida legislature last year I know politics out in Florida can oftentimes be a little different than Massachusetts, but really this law knows no political boundaries. This is legal, as the chairman mentioned, 28 states, blue states, red states, purple states. Child safety, student safety really knows no political party. But in a conservative state such as Florida, this passed nearly unanimously last year, and now you have county school districts implementing this program into this year. So let's talk a little bit about Massachusetts. You have wonderful school districts that have been engaged in this issue. There has been legislation pushed in the State House for well over a decade. The hope is that maybe this year it gets done. It's actually, it's got some momentum, and I think that's due to the community-driven efforts by, again, parents, school districts, our law enforcement partners in places like Peabody. So Peabody has a partnership with Bus Patrol. We didn't charge them for the technology, just to be able to collect data, share it with the community, and share it with audiences like this, but also members of the state legislature. So we're just installed on 10 of their buses, and for the entire school year, roughly early September to mid-June, those 10 school buses have captured over 4,000 violations in just Peabody alone. So that equates to about 2.4 violations per bus per day in Peabody. That got some attention of a couple news outlets. They reported on it, and Peabody was very public about it. They wanted people to know, because I think that parents, people who drop their kids off at the bus stop, they see it, bus drivers see it, but I think the public at large kind of knows it's happening. But I think that what I see is that people don't realize how bad the problem actually is, and the data really tells us that. So, and our programs, we provide really incredible data analytics to school districts so that they can actually have, like, knowledge is power. Now with the data, you can actually move bus stops. You can actually maybe call the police department and station an officer there. You can have road signage and other educational efforts. So what we do is, like, and this is just Bus Patrol, but on a monthly basis or even more regular than that, we provide the top ticketed locations, the hot spots, if you will, and then that allows the school transportation leadership to make more thoughtful route planning decisions in the months and even years ahead. So what Peabody is seeing now is really there are some hot spots, but I would say generally an even distribution. So kind of a problem all across town, if you will, is what the data is suggesting. I don't know if this is able to be played. We got their permission, but this is sort of just, I don't know if I can play this here, but this is an example of a couple of violations that we saw on the roads. I don't know, is that, maybe you could press play on that, or?
Yeah, we're going to have our tech system help with
Okay.
that.
Yeah, it's, no.
Let's see.
If I had it on my laptop. Okay. Well, we'll share the videos for everyone. They'll knock your socks off. Like the things that people do, kids crossing the street, because not every kid gets picked up on the same side of where their house is. By the way, some kids just get dropped off at the bus stop by a parent or a neighbor or loved one. Some kids are hanging out, wherever, at a park or a store, and then, walk across the street or run across the street to catch the bus. So it's staggering, the videos of kids diving out of the road. So I sometimes get asked, well, what are the statistics on deaths or even kids getting hit, maybe not dying? What I think is so underreported and really not spoken about enough is just the trauma of the close calls. Like, think about a kid having to dive out of the road or come within seconds of getting mauled by a car. That doesn't show up in a statistic, but that lives with the child really forever. So the trauma is not to be understated. So now we see these community-based efforts in Massachusetts. Like I said, Salem, we met with the mayor and a parent group there, law enforcement, the school transportation team, and they're all on board. So Salem, I mentioned Worcester, having conversations with BPS. We hope to be able to, if there's an agreement, it would be a free pilot, of course, no charge, just to be able to share that data with the school district and the council and maybe the state legislature to show folks across the state what's happening. I think that would do a lot of good. We're happy to be kind of here at a moment's notice if you'll have us. But I think through the data, and just if I can speak as a subject matter expert, someone who kind of does this all over the country, meets with members of state legislatures, I think when the data gets presented to people who are empowered with making these decisions at the state level, it does change some minds, even people who maybe have competing priorities, other interests. The data is really tough to ignore. So what we have are some legislative efforts, and there have been lots of news clips, like I think, let's see here, we have just all the local news, CBS, Fox, and NBC, ABC, et cetera, that have been covering this issue now a lot. But just to talk a little bit about legislative efforts, we mentioned the 28 states. So we know sometimes in politics, it takes a tragedy, unfortunately, to see a flurry of political actions, kind of just the nature of our politics. But really where this came to, I guess, what you might call a beachhead moment was in Indiana. Back in 2018, 3 children from the same family were crossing the street to get on the school bus and lost their life to one of these incidents. Just an unspeakable tragedy that, as a father of 2, I can't even, it's like hard to utter that could happen to a family. Expecting your kid to get to school safely and not return. But what we saw from that was a national level call for change. The U.S. National Transportation Safety Board got involved. They recommended to all states to pass these school bus stop arm camera laws to legalize the ability to use these stop arm cameras to help enforce our traffic laws better. And that's what led to now 28 states to legalize the use of the stop arm camera. So this past year, we had, Florida was 27 last year, and then Oregon became state 28 this year. And you could see a lot concentrated on the East Coast, but certainly not exclusively. If I could zoom in, if I could, but I'll just call out, New York has it, Rhode Island has it, Connecticut has it, Maine has it. So the hope would be that we can see some action in Massachusetts, because I think the districts and communities and parents really, really want this technology on their kids' buses. And that's where we are today, H4940. It's gotten further than it's ever gotten in the State House. I am proud to say that. And I think that was due to a lot of members of the Boston delegation. So Rep. Honan has been a huge champion, and he was one of the principal sponsors and also helped get it reported out of the House Transportation Committee. I'm going to butcher his last name, but the Ways and Means Chair, Aaron Michlowitz, helped to shepherd it out of Ways and Means, which is no easy task in the state legislature. And then Rep. Mike Moran also helped to shepherd it as the House Majority Leader, of course, to get it engrossed in the House. So it is fully passed in the House. And now even though we're in, the formal session is over, there is still a possibility where it is passed during informal session. So it's sitting in the Senate Ways and Means Committee, awaiting action. But just some highlights about the law. And again, I'm not the policymaker, but what I see communities really appreciate around states around the country that have this law is permissive language. This is not a mandate. This is not an unfunded mandate. This is simply language authorizing community-based programs to be created when cities and towns partner with their local school district and local law enforcement to stand up local programs. So completely permissive. If it's not, maybe this isn't for every community. This is not being forced on any community to do this. Let's see. I guess just a few more, and then I'll be happy to take as many questions as you have again. But again, this is first and foremost a program, at least from Bus Patrol's perspective, around student safety equity. Every bus, every child, your zip code, what part of town you're from, what bus you take should not determine your level of safety. That's our mantra. We call them full fleet partnerships. So I do hope that one day there's a world where all 750 BPS buses is equipped with a stop-arm camera system that helps to hold drivers accountable who would endanger a child's life. There are programs. There's really not one vendor that does this. Bus Patrol is certainly the largest around the country, but certainly not a one vendor type proposition. School districts have an array of vendors to choose from. They can buy stop-arm cameras and do the programs themselves, or they can partner in a public-private partnership way, which is what Bus Patrol specializes in. And we take care of all the administrative work that it would be more of a cost burden on the school district. So instead of the school district watching hours of video, we have an AI engine that detects the stop-arm violations, transmits those videos directly to law enforcement securely over the cloud. We even support it, when permitted, the ability to mail the ticket, not make the law enforcement decision, but just the mailing and printing, which can get pretty pricey. So we kind of run a turnkey end-to-end service that basically puts all the capital risk on Bus Patrol. We actually outfit all the buses for free. So because the video seems to be disabled here, I won't play it, but there is a video showing how the stop-arm camera technology works to detect the stop-arm violations. But again, there's checks and balances. We send the video to law enforcement securely, and then they use their independent discretionary authority to decide whether a motorist gets a violation or not mailed to them. And then I'll just end with really the proudest statistic of all. And again, I love being in the weeds about the data. We're on 30,000 school buses across 16 states. Our data in these large programs suggests that it's the lowest form of recidivism in all of automated enforcement. Like, you've probably heard of red light cameras or speed cameras. They're not here in the Commonwealth, but they're in other states. School bus stop-arm cameras that are equipped with a Bus Patrol program, under 10% of folks who ever get one of these tickets breaks the law ever again. So we're just really proud of the behavioral change that these programs come with when they're done responsibly and in partnership with the community. And we hope to one day be able to serve every student rider in Boston. So with that, thank you.
Steve, thank you. Thank you so much for that presentation and for just educating me on the work that you are doing. Definitely highlight a lot of the reasons why I am pushing for this, and hopefully we get to do this. I do want to give an opportunity to my colleagues to ask you some questions, starting with Councilor, Madam President, Louisa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, Steve. It's great to have you here. Sure, policy professors would be happy to see this exchange, but I want to thank you for the work that you're doing. I think the data that you presented is really helpful to sort of help situate in the importance of what you're doing, but even just like the human stories behind it, of course, are really tragic, and our students deserve to be safe while riding school buses. Can I ask how this technology would interact or should interact with the current technology that we had on the previous panel? We heard Dan and Carla talk about, I think it's LITEX. How would there be interaction between those technologies? Are they complementary? What does that look like?
Yeah, thank you for the question, Madam President. So I would say they're complementary. My understanding, at least based on hearing what the district had to say, is it doesn't seem like the cameras on the buses, the interior cameras, are necessarily monitoring all the rows of students, like the behavior, fights, bullying. It sounds like you have an outward-facing camera and a camera that's on the bus driver. So what we do is we equip to the exterior of the bus license plate reading cameras that are enabled through an AI engine that we developed back in 2017. And when the stop arm is out and when kids are getting on and off, that technology detects when a car illegally passes a school bus. So it's not really interacting with the cameras that the BPS buses have today. As another service, if you will, Bus Patrol is actually one of the largest video solutions provider for interior cameras as well. And what we do is, because we do these full fleet programs and we put a large DVR on the bus, it's about a 2 terabyte DVR, because it has to be able to hold, say, 30 days worth of video. We actually provide free interior cameras to the school district across even very large fleets. We have a school bus fleet larger than 5,000 school buses where, because they did the stop arm camera program, there's sort of like an economy of scale for the DVR. So we give the school districts that we serve, and again, no upcharge, no fine print, free interior cameras just for doing the program.
Thank you. I have a question about, you talked about how you don't do policy, although I know you do policy, but what this ends up looking like. So what basically you're asking for or seeking before the legislature, good luck, is the ability to allow us to have these cameras, that enforcement. Have you seen in other jurisdictions, and I don't know how long back the data goes, where enforcement is, as you put it, and I think you put it squarely, a lot of it is about how are we changing, and a lot of our policy should be about how are we changing human behavior, and that can happen through just enforcements and tickets. There is a step that could come after that, right, where outside of the enforcement, you do then get policy change. And have you seen jurisdictions take, the data and the information from the enforcements that's been a result of bus patrols, data and monitoring and all of that, and then transform that into some sort of policy? Like, has there been a next step as a result of what you're providing to school districts?
All the time. So first, I am not the policymaker, but happy to offer suggestions. But yeah, first, I think it starts with education. Really, even before a program is launched, I would say on the front end, the best programs are community-driven. No, we don't want to make it feel like anyone got a light switch turned on them and all of a sudden there's lots of tickets being mailed to people. Even though they're breaking the law, the change management, managing the community sentiment is really important. So I like to say it should almost feel like you were living under a rock if you didn't know this program was coming. So usually, like, state laws will actually enshrine things like a 30-day warning period. So for the first 30 days, a new community wants to launch this. Nobody, even though you broke the law, you get a warning ticket in the mail. And you do public service announcements, you do ongoing education. On the back end, what I've seen, though, once programs go live, is that people do break the law, even though you do these educational programs and warning periods. But where I've seen the policy really kick in on the back end is, one, really just being able to use other methods besides the enforcement to address the issue. Like, I've seen communities that have moved school bus stops. I've seen communities that have made sure that the top ticketed locations in their community, that you might actually have other types of deterrents that are kind of situated like an actual police car. Maybe you station a police car there. I've seen road signage. I've seen different educational nudges. You can even say a police car, even if it wasn't an officer in there, kind of creates a deterrent effect. So a lot of community-driven strategies as a result of the data, but only through really the kind of full fleet enforcement do you kind of get a full picture of what is happening at each school bus stop across the community.
Thank you. I was at an event yesterday, Garrison Trotter Neighborhood Association, and they are pushing for a lot of the changes that you mentioned. They want on the first day of school. They want police officers there. They want to make sure that bus stops are being moved. And like what you just said, I think that there's a lot of there are some mechanisms for that to happen via anecdotes, like people sharing information and the way that civic groups are often giving us information and then we advocate. But I do see the value of having a data-driven enforcement process that does a lot of that work, helps us do a lot of that work. So thank you for being here and for your testimony before the council.
Thank you.
Thank you, Madam President. Councilor Fitzgerald.
Thank you, Chair. Just one question, and I ask this of whoever usually comes in front of the panel for any number of reasons, but in transparency's sake, what is the counterpoint to whenever you try to enact this? What is the argument typically against, so we can be aware of what might be coming? And even no matter how good any idea is, right, there's always somebody who says, here's why I don't want it. Is there any argument that's been given in the other places you've implemented it that to a degree, and what is that argument?
Yeah, it's a great question. So, look, I mean, there are some people who are just not camera people. And I think that's a reasonable position to have if you just don't think that a camera should be able to support the ability for the community to write a traffic ticket. Now, in a place like Boston, I might say that you walk out into a city street, it's very likely that you're on camera somewhere, a store, a Ring doorbell, etc. So there's, in urban centers, probably lesser of an expectation of privacy on a given street. But there are some people who feel that they're not camera people, and even if the data suggests that it's done equitably, or if the program deters behavior, they're just sort of philosophically against the camera. So I think you see that in communities. But I think that the direction we're seeing is a much more openness to leveraging technology. So I think, the hardened folks who maybe 10 or 15 or 20 years ago were not camera people now are sort of appreciating that this can be done in a responsible way with checks and balances and oversight. And so I think some of those naysayers are sort of softening a bit. And then I would say so Bus Patrol doesn't have this problem, but I would say we're not the only vendor. This idea of who gets the technology and are you cherry picking? So Boston, BPS has 750 buses. Be a much different conversation if I said, we're just going to pick the 20 school buses that maybe have the most violations. Then you start to have parents who are like, maybe my child has special needs, or my child, just because my child doesn't get picked up on the most crowded intersection doesn't mean that he or she isn't deserving of a heightened level of safety. So when a community does this, if they don't do a full fleet, I think that there are holes that can be poked around the safety equity.
Agreed. I'd love to see if there was any data on, in the other cities or counties that you've implemented this, of where the most traffic violations occur, just so that we can see or predict, right, and get ahead of, right, whether it's in more urban cores, I don't know whether it's demographics, anything, right, that we can scroll through that data and say, how can we get ahead of prioritizing where we need to implement other sort of factors that could factor into the safety of students getting to and from school and traffic safety in general. Yeah, I think it's high time we implement something like this, and very much supportive. So thank you for your time and the education you gave us here today. Appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Calero Zapata.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you so much for your work on this. This is really all just so fascinating. It's demonstrative of how technology can help save lives and can help governments and bureaucracies work better, so very much appreciate it. We talked about reckless driving of others and the cameras of people passing by. That story that you talked about with the 3 kids is just so heartbreaking. And, I think that I haven't looked, and so this is just anecdotal, but there have been times that news has been broken about drivers of these buses and kids getting hurt and all of that. And so Earlier, I brought up how we had DoorDash and Grubhub come in here, I think it was July 9th, and talk about how they're not instituting any sort of telematics that tracks their drivers' behavior, and I really didn't appreciate their answer. I thought that it was lacking, just for the record. But I think that this is a way to help with that, but then also, in the instance where some of our drivers are in a tough situation or for whatever reason they're driving erratically, I think this could be pretty useful. Have you looked at any data and tracked some of the bus drivers' behavior using telematics? Does your software do that? I know we're talking about GPS and all of that and cameras, but could you just talk to me a little bit about that?
Sure. So what I like to say is, and I'm aging myself a little bit, but the school bus hasn't really changed a whole lot since I was going to school. And the school bus hasn't really changed a whole lot from when my parents were going to school. So I think really the school bus is sort of ripe for disruption right now. The technology is out there, and with the will and the resources, we can turn all of our school buses into smart buses. Believe it or not, there are over 500,000 school buses that take our kids to school each and every day around the country. That's 26 million kids take the school bus to and from school every day. It's the most widely used form of mass transportation in the world. So the short answer to your question, though, is yes, absolutely yes. The technologies can be integrated to do things like telematics, tracking student pickup times. I see a lot of parents these days wanting to make sure that their kids were boarded the bus. That's another one, like the student counter. You could have a kid who gets dropped off or doesn't actually find his or her way onto the bus, or maybe gets off in the wrong stop. So all of that is part and parcel with systems that can be leveraged to make the school bus ride more efficient, more cost efficient, by the way. I mean, you even talk about things like fuel efficiency. There are electric buses that are now coming, rolling out in the streets. There are federal grants that are being made available for electric school buses. But telematics is huge right now because, as folks mentioned in the previous panel, if you're a parent, you got to get to work, and the school bus, for whatever reason, is late, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and your livelihood depends on you getting to work, but your kid can't be left at the school bus. You're in sort of a lose-lose situation. So the technology that can be leveraged to make sure that that bus gets there faster and it's using the most efficient route, using the most efficient fuel economy, but also providing the parents with that transparency for when the school bus is actually getting there and picking up my kid is available. And then again, all of that can be translated to other fleets, whether it's the gig food delivery services, trucking fleet. It's all based off of the same technology. So to hear that, and I hear anecdotally as well, I mean, because not every delivery worker is even riding a car. Sometimes it's even a bike, and the amount of delivery workers who are getting hit by cars and in bike lanes is also equally unacceptable.
Thank you for that answer, and thank you for your advocacy up at the State House. Happy to write a letter of support. I won't speak for my other colleagues, but it's certainly something that we need to get done during informal session. And to echo the Madam President's words, good luck. But we'll be there to help push it along as much as we can. But I am, again, fascinated with this telematics idea of being able to track speed, acceleration, braking, sharp turns, all of that. So if what your software does, we should think about installing that to our fleets and other fleets across the city of Boston, only because then we could use it to incentivize good behavior with our drivers. So we could look at driver behavior analytics, and if you are a good driver, if you're a safe driver, we have the proof, right? We could give them bonuses or whatever it is that we can do, but I think it would just incentivize good behavior. And I think this is an emerging field, and look forward to the work that's happening at the city level. Thank you for your work. Please let us know how we can be helpful. And that's it for me, Chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilor. Steve, again, thank you so much for the presentation. You brought up so many good points, and one of the questions that I have is, what's your partnership like with law enforcement in the areas that you have already run this program? Do you guys communicate often? Do you share the data with them on areas that most of the violations are happening? How does that work?
Yeah, so it's really a community-driven program, and no one program is exactly like another. But the way even the state law in its current form is designed is to really be like you're having all the pillars of the community getting together. It could be the local police chief, it could be the school superintendent and the school board, it's the mayor and the city council or the town council. And all those parties don't traditionally on a day-to-day basis work together, but this program, at least in a permissive fashion, allows them to get together to create these locally driven programs. Bus patrol comes in when the school district is not looking to buy the cameras and wants to kind of offload some of the admin ministerial work to a provider. So, and that's been a successful model around the country. The school, the law enforcement is really intended to be independent. So we work with them. We're constantly talking on a daily basis, but at the same time, there are safeguards in the law and really just in our programs because we're not looking to influence law enforcement's decision. We're kind of like packaging the evidence, we're pre-screening it for filtering out for all the junk, but then giving the minute clip or so to a designated law enforcement official to watch the clips around the school bus to make that independent decision. So there's that healthy sense of checks and balances always, so people don't ever feel like, a private company wrote me a ticket. That is not the case. But then on the back end, I think to the Madam President's point, the tools that law enforcement then has at their disposal to do some more what I would call traditional enforcement on the roads is made possible through the data. So again, if I'm in a place like Peabody and there's say 80 buses and then there are 3 stops that are the trouble spots, you can station an officer there and as one point of intervention, try to curb the behavior with traditional enforcement. Because the thing about photo enforcement is that it is not really equipped to do facial recognition. So it's a little too Big Brother-ish. So what we see is it's functions like a parking ticket. So it goes to the registered owner of the vehicle. Even if you weren't the driver, if you own the vehicle, you would be mailed the ticket, and then there's a transfer of liability provision. If you lent your car to your friend, and we want to mail that person who's identified in an affidavit the citation, that's permissible. But really, it's just to be very clear, it's a civil infraction with a monetary penalty that's supposed to hit you in the wallet, much like a parking ticket does.
Okay. That's good to know because I know that's probably some of the pushback that we hear sometimes about this kind of enforcement. But it's good to know that it's more like a parking ticket, which essentially what I was thinking it would be. Based on your experience so far with Peabody and now seeing that you're doing Salem, how are you using those pilot programs? For example, like how many buses are you installing cameras on? Let's say we're looking ahead in Boston. How would that look like in Boston?
Well, I would always advocate for a representative sample. So, Boston's a lot larger than Peabody, so I would make sure that if we were to do this, it should be all different parts of town so that we really get a sense, all the council members, for example, in your various districts, I think having that sense of what does it look like in, Brookline or what does it look like in South Boston, something like that. So make sure that we're having a strong representative sample with a great cross-section. We'll be able to provide the best data of what's really likely happening around the community.
Okay. It looks like City Council has a little bit of work to do in terms of pushing, nudging the state Senate. So probably going to reach out to colleagues for a letter there. But honestly, that's really up for me. That's it for me in regards to questions. Do any of my 2 colleagues have any follow-up questions for Steve?
I practiced.
Any closing statements from my council colleagues? Madam President?
Just want to reiterate, thank you for being here. I also thought when, I think Councilor Fitzgerald asked about who are the opponents, I think there are reasons to always be wary of cameras when it comes to the Fourth Amendment, when it comes to constitutional rights, but I appreciate you mentioning how there tends to be broad political support given that we're talking about the safety of our kids and about what road safety looks like. So thank you again, Steve, for being here. Very proud of the work that you're doing and happy to have you here in these chambers.
Thank you. Right back at you.
Councilor Fitzgerald?
Thank you. Thank you.
Of course. Steve, again, thank you so much for your presentation. To those from BPS, thank you so much for also being here today. This is, again, a very important topic for me and for just all the residents that have always reached out to our office. We're just very thankful for all the information that's been shared today. But with that, this hearing on docket number 0476 is adjourned.